Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. My name is Simoninski, or Simon if you like, and this is Game Week 12 preview. I'm still waiting for the other guys to join in. They are running a bit late, but the show must continue. So it was an eventful weekend. Big matches played. Manchester United and Arsenal losing over the weekend. Liverpool, Chelsea, and City winning their respective results. Also, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got to lose his job after a dreadful and embarrassing defeat to Watford, 4-1 defeat at Vicarage Road. So we are going to go through some of the major matches that were played over the weekend and basically dissect, see what went through over the weekend. Remember, you can always post your comment in the comment section below, and we shall get to read them during the show. So let's go on to the weekend. So on Friday, we had a big result for Augsburg versus Bayern, and as you remember in our preview, I had stated that Bayern is a team that nowadays you can't trust because Bayern tend to lose matches when you expect them to win, and it was actually embarrassing for them to lose to Augsburg because Augsburg have had only won two matches the entire season, and they lost 2-0. Bayern lost 2-1 to Augsburg. So Julian Nagelsmann seems to be struggling a bit, but who knows? The international break probably got to them. Yeah, Bayern are somehow not a team that is supposed to lose to Augsburg, considering the likes of Lewandowski are on form. We expected to see them beat a weak side in Augsburg, but losing 2-1 is quite a dicey situation for them. They are going to play in the Champions League this week. We are also going to do a short preview of the Champions League, hopefully today or tomorrow. So Bayern need Sorry for that. Bayern need to bounce back from that embarrassing defeat. Yeah, it was embarrassing for them to lose. The other result that came as a shocker was AS Monaco and Lille. We expected Lille to win against AS Monaco. There was a red card in that match. AS Monaco are playing at home. Lille are currently in not enjoying good form. So we expected to see them win because Monaco also are not having a good season. Yeah, so the red card to AS Monaco might have resulted in the poor performance for the match. The red card was a second yellow to Pavlovic, which was a foul. And then there was an equalizer in the 83rd minute from Vincent Ben Yedder of Monaco. So actually, Monaco are losing that game, but Ben Yedder, you remember, he tormented Manchester United in the Europa League. He was able to equalize in the 83rd minute. Steve, how are you, man? You're so late, my friend.
Sorry guys, nilikuwa na emergency call ya job so
Uh,
I couldn't help it, lakini yeah, nimemalizana nao mbio mbio. I thought nitamaliza before time but yeah, things happen. I'm
yeah,
good, I'm
Oyale
good.
anatusalimia hapo. Unfortunately, he was unable to make to today's show because he's traveling. Nilikuwa nataka akuje kwa show so that atuambie what happened over the weekend.
Mafans wa Arsenal siwaoni leo. Na vile anakwanga Devi ako wapi?
Wacha tuone kama atajoin, labda hata yeye ako na emergency call from work. Devi ndio huyo Evra, wapi shati?
Shati bado.
No, ulisema Ole Gunnar akichujwa kazi utavaa shati ya Maniu.
Nilisema Ole Gunnar akichuja ama nilisema tukishinda?
Ulisema Ole Gunnar
In any
akichujwa
case,
pia.
nilivaa weekend, so that's why right now sina. Yeah, but during the weekend I was fully kitted. Unfortunately we lost, so yeah. Sahii nimeiweka kando kidogo mpaka tomorrow.
Sawa. So I was just looking at the weekend results on Friday. You remember what I told you about Bayern? I don't usually trust Bayern nowadays because when you expect Bayern to win, they lose. You remember I told you that they might lose against Augsburg. We expected them to win, but they might lose against Augsburg, and it was a shock to see them lose 2-1 to a team that had only won 2 matches all season. What are your views on that game?
Didn't watch the game, unfortunately. I was held up somewhere. But I think that it's peculiar. I think I think that team only beats like bigger teams, which is very weird. If we can look at, I don't have the stats with me right now, but I think imepiga some notable teams in the Bundesliga. I can't remember offhand which teams. I don't know if it's Borussia or there's a couple of teams imeshinda which notable.
They've beaten Stuttgart and I can't find the other team. Hey, Devi.
Yo.
How are you, my friend?
I'm good.
Uliza hiyo swali in person. Wacha kuuliza kwa comment. Ask that question in person.
Evra, wapi t-shirt? Niliona mwenzako jana aling'ara na zebra.
Inakauka ile inakauka for tomorrow. Unajua sisi tuna midweek games. Najua ni kitu very foreign to Arsenal fans, but we usually have midweek games. So inakauka.
Check Evra. Watch your steps. Kumbuka sehemu kuna ma-interim.
Kuna interim, wanangoja interim.
Kuna interim, wanangoja interim.
Jana nime prediction nikasema we are not losing a game this year. And unbeaten in 2021. New manager bounce. I'm the first one to predict this in the world. So if it happens, of which I'm sure it will happen, remember my name. I called it first.
Yeah.
So yeah, new manager bounce from tomorrow.
Okay.
Now, and we will be the first people to break that on first.
I'll make sure I'm not in Mombasa.
If not Chelsea, then we will be the first to.
No problem. We're checking too, but we are back. Manchester is back.
Muko na kibarua.
This is the best time kukua na interim. The players can now express themselves well. Kwa sababu interim maybe hajajua his best tactic, so atawambia you just go and express yourselves, which I'm sure our players can do well. Up until when Sazile will get now the interim, who will be more tactical kind of coach,
right now, Steve. Right now we have interim. We are waiting for interim.
Oh yeah. So whichever that you are waiting for, but Said tunaenda tuna expressing ourselves, which we did perfectly when Ole Gunnar was signed or was interim himself. I think our players perform well during that kind of conditions where there's nothing to lose, honestly. This season, as personally, may write off. I think my only hope is that to top 4, so that next season to Champions League when when now we have a permanent manager. But yeah, I'm happy. I'm a happy guy.
Okay. But
umekosea
mahali. Devi, ngoja kidogo. Unajua Evra amekosea mahali. Unasema Arsenal hawana midweek matches. They do have midweek matches.
Which ones?
The ones in the weekend, that is in between 2 weeks. So those are midweek matches.
Seriously?
Games
Me, I
that
thought
go
you were
weekend,
talking.
they are in between weeks, so they are
Me,
midweek
me, I thought,
matches.
me, I thought you were talking about Carling Cup. Ambaye anaenda kubeba comfortably.
Anyway, sema Davis sasa nimekucut short.
Because nasema nio napenda vile jamaa langu liko nio hopeful about kufika nio top 4. Okay, it's good to be nio to have hopes. But vile unazibuild bro.
Well, it's not hope, it's confidence. Una confuse hizo vitu mbili. Una confidence na kuna hope. Arsenal live on hope. As we live on confidence. Ndio tunaitwa Kiburi FC. Juu tuko ego zetu hatuwezi kubali tukue mediocre yani. So we don't live on hope. We live on
my brother, do you know that you're contradicting yourself? Ushasema season ume-write off tena unasema tuko na confidence.
Yeah, may write off kushinda ligi. Ku write off kushinda like a cup. Set may write off ati tutakuwa relegated. May write off just for the cups. I think right now we are not in a good space to challenge. Obviously 12 points ni mob sana, so especially when hizo teams zenye ziko mbele yetu zina perform vile zina perform, it would be stupid to think that we challenge. Yeah, definitely any Manchester United fan who injured, we have a chance in hell of challenging this season. I doubt, but top 4 is still manageable. I think we're only 3 points. Is it 3 or 5? I can't remember. To top 4, so hatuko mbaya vile watu wana assume. But hatuko mbaya, and tuko na depth, which I think is good for any manager, for any interim or interim manager. Tuko na depth kiasi, so akona things anaweza experiment kiasi with certain players who are considered fringe. Na hii weekend walionyesha that they can do something. I hope this is the beginning of to see what kama Van de Beek na wenzake Lingard, Martial. I hope wao wataanza kupata more game time because they deserve it kama kweli. Wale watu wenye wamepewa hizo chances the wamezisquander throughout the season, so it's time for a new slate where kila mtu anarudi zero. Performance zako ndio zitakupea game. I think that's hiyo ndio tunapea like confidence that tutapata top 4.
Speaking of top 4, Leicester, Chelsea beat Leicester 3-0 away at the King Power Stadium, and we expected a tough fixture. Remember, Steve, when we were doing our preview, we said that this game might end up in a narrow win for Chelsea or a draw, but unfortunately Leicester showed that they can't quite handle or play against the big teams. Now, at the same time, that's the coach that Manchester United are looking at. Do you think, David, that Leicester are the new Tottenham, or ni team yenye bado haijapata formula of how to play?
Actually, with the trend right now, I think Leicester is the new Tottenham. It's the new Tottenham because knowing Brendan Rodgers, it's like a mission tactics at the moment. Because if at all you can be, unaweza kuwa knocked out for one game, the second game and being considered as a top 6, then it's dangerous. It's dangerous. So to me, I think the new Tottenham. But Tottenham is coming back, so that's why I wanted to ask you guys the question. Don't you think you as Manchester guys, top 4 is so competitive? Because we have the likes of West Ham, the likes of Arsenal, the likes of Tottenham. Also, we cannot write off Leicester. Will be there. Brighton hiyo tunaweza iweka nje kidogo, but still pia itapatiana competition. Don't you think that's very competitive?
Yeah,
so when
it
my
is.
friend
It
tells
is.
me that he's confident going to top one,
I'm trying to pull up the table here so that we can have a look at it. Just give me a
but it's
sec.
good to be confident. It's good to be confident, and ever. I like that confidence.
Yeah, let's have a look at the table. So at the top we have Chelsea, City, Liverpool, West Ham, Arsenal. Those are the teams that do complete the top 5. And then the next group is Wolves, surprisingly Wolves, and they started the season badly. Tottenham, Manchester United, and Brighton. Tottenham leapfrogged Manchester United because Tottenham had a big win against Leeds. I did watch that match, the first half of it. Unfortunately, for the second half, we had our all-out discussion. But from the first for the first half, I watched that game. Tottenham have a lot of work to do. Conte akona kazi mingi ya kufanya. I think if he gets the players he wants in January and in the summer next season, Tottenham itakuwa among the top 4 teams. So to your question, Devi, I think Brighton, Wolves sioni wakisustain the top 8 or top 9. The team that tunafaa kuangalia sana sana yenye inaweza jaribu kujipusha hapo juu ni Leicester. I think Leicester, once they have their team back, because they have a number of injuries, timu yao ikirudi vile tumezoea, the likes of Vardy wakirudi, tutaona hii timu itaanza kupanda juu. Hapo top 4, personally I feel that itakuwa fight ya Man United, Tottenham and Arsenal. Assuming that Arsenal don't lose to big teams, because imeonekana so far nyinyi ni kama Man U sasa. You're winning against the small teams, or those are Man U imekuwa worse. But the big teams, because you've lost 5-0 to City, and you've lost 4 to Liverpool. Next you're playing Manchester United, and Steve is confident of a win.
Steve.
Oh yeah.
Mention the scoreline.
Between?
We are saying that the top 4 itakuwa a fight between Arsenal, Tottenham and Manchester United. And we've already seen Arsenal start losing to the top teams. They've already lost to City. They've already lost to Liverpool. Have they played against Chelsea?
Yes, we played against
Chelsea.
And they lost.
Yeah, and they lost.
Yeah.
So you've lost to the top 3 already. You are yet to play Manchester United. And which other team? Let's just open
Tottenham. Tottenham, they won actually, I think. They won against Tottenham, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, we won against Tottenham.
Yeah, they won against Tottenham 3-1.
That was 3-1.
Next, they are playing against Manchester United. The other big team they are playing against is Everton, West Ham. Yeah. So if you look at those fixtures, and they are yet, if you look at those fixtures, they are playing Leeds. Leeds wanaezana nayo, but you look at Everton, you look at West Ham, and you look at Manchester United. Davy, are you confident of the victories in those big matches, considering you've already lost to the three teams?
I'm very confident. Very confident. Very confident. Yes, because I'll tell you for a fact, the Liverpool game was like a litmus test of where we are. So for now, we know that we are not that good. So we are going to improve the places that were exposed that day. So I'm sure we have to clobber Manchester United first.
Who are you playing against this week? Next week, I mean.
We're playing with West Brom.
Weekend? You're playing with West Brom this weekend. West Brom is not in the league.
Is it West Brom? No, it's
Let me
tell you right now. They are going to play against Newcastle.
Newcastle,
Newcastle.
Newcastle.
Early
Yeah,
kickoff
Newcastle.
actually.
Early kickoff.
Then after,
And I can guarantee you that match won't be easy for Arsenal.
really?
I think it
It
will be
won't
an
be
easy one.
For me, I don't think
I
it
think
will be easy.
Everton,
I watched the Newcastle game
Mhm.
on Saturday. Despite the result they got, that team has started showing a bit of fight. So
Mhm.
Arsenal might win, yes, but
Mhm. It won't
it
be
won't
easy.
be
I know.
it won't be easy. I
I
haven't
know
said that Arsenal will lose. I'm just saying it won't be an easy match for Arsenal, as
that
people
one. I
think.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And
Mm.
actually, we are supposed to use that game as a game that will give us more confidence to facing Manchester.
Yeah.
Then when they come midweek, we clobber them.
Yes. Now,
I'm
anyway,
very
it's not.
confident about that game, by the way. I don't know why. And I will
which
wish
game?
that Simon was here. My
I
lucky
don't want
charm.
us to do, I don't want us to do a preview. I want us to do a review of the weekend. So let's just review. So Arsenal versus Liverpool. What went wrong? Let's start with the anti-Arsenal fan in Evra. What went wrong for Arsenal?
It
They
was
lost big versus Liverpool.
it was as simple as men against boys. If I am to be asked, they were outplayed
Mhm.
in all sectors, be it possession, be it shots on target, be it actual general, just normal shots, be it goals. Be like they were outplayed by Liverpool. I
Yeah.
think, but what I'd commend them, they held their own for I guess the first 30 minutes. I
Yeah.
think they were I was actually impressed on how the Arsenal carried themselves earlier on. Earlier on until maybe when they conceded the first goal. So yeah, I think it was a weird game, honestly. I thought Arsenal would do better considering how they started the game. I thought maybe, yeah, I knew they'd lose as I had predicted. That was a given. But the manner in which they lost was surprising considering how good they were in the first 30 minutes of the game or before they
Yeah.
conceded the first goal. So yeah, I usually never I seldom watch like Arsenal games, but they seem like a team. Honestly, okay, the first 30 minutes, I'd say, if they continue to play the way they played the first 30 minutes against us, then we have a problem. I don't know where they lost their head in that game. I think the first goal just I don't know what happened because they were very solid. They intercepted all the ball. Like the first 30 minutes was amazing. Like the defense was sharp, everyone was sharp. Salah couldn't get the space.
Yeah.
But the moment, as soon as they conceded one goal, it was
Yes.
game over.
Y-
It was
Yeah.
game over. They just decided to concede. Like they conceded the whole game after the first goal. They started just playing recklessly, and yeah, Liverpool is Liverpool. Uh, they need to be given their flowers. I think Liverpool is a well-oiled machine where everyone knows their job and everyone does their job to perfection. I have also to commend their wing backs, especially Trent. I think for me he was man of the match. He was just like I don't know. He was dictating the game from one wing. Like the number of crosses of like I don't know accurate crosses he put in. I think Ramsdale was superb also. And, if I'm to say, I think the game would have ended a bit a few more goals, maybe a couple more. If it wasn't for Ramsdale, superb saves. So yeah, it was a weird game. It was good for Arsenal for a bit. Then Liverpool is Liverpool, and yeah, it happened
Yeah.
how it happened.
Unfortunately, Devi has left the call. Hopefully, he shall join in as we go along. Um, what I think of the Arsenal game, I was hoping to hear Davies' comment before I gave my thoughts. What I think of the Liverpool Arsenal game, I think Arteta fell into the hands of Klopp. That's what I think. I think Klopp aliona hiyo game vile inaenda, so he decided to toy with Arteta's mind. If you watch that game in the first half, when Arsenal were on top, you remember what Klopp did. Klopp started to argue and to incite with
To turn.
Arteta. Yeah, to tone with him. Basically, he was toying with his mind. So what happened after Arsenal lost it? As a coach, when you don't concentrate on the game, you concentrate on what the opponent or the opposing manager is doing and what the opposing players are doing, the files they are doing, what the referee is doing. It takes your mind off the game. So I think that's what Arteta fell into, because Klopp, uh, of course, he'll make noise. Klopp is Klopp. Klopp won't keep quiet on the touchline. Klopp will bully you. He will abuse you. He will call you names. Will taunt you. He will taunt your players. But it's upon you as the manager to keep calm. That's part of his tactics. So when Arteta actually lost it against Klopp, what happened later? The players lost concentration. They were giving away silly balls. They gave away silly goals. You look at Tavares, his performance went down. That's where I think Klopp looked at those players, looked at the tactics Arteta had, looked at it and said, these guys are actually going toe to toe with us. I need to do something. And Arteta was in control of the game. Arsenal in control of the game. In fact, I expected Arsenal to score. Remember that they had a couple of offside calls against them. So uh, uh, we had predicted, okay, I had predicted that even though Arsenal will lose, I didn't expect them to lose by 4 goals. I expected probably a 2-1 or a 3-1 kind of result. But it was actually embarrassing to see Liverpool score 4-1, because Liverpool, they were on their third gear. It's like the
4-0.
way they played. 4-0. They were in their third gear. They did not. It's like the Man United game. They were in their second or first gear most of the time. The only time they went to the third gear was when they wanted the first goal. The moment they got the second goal, then they switched to the second gear. So they were actually playing around, enjoying themselves. If you remember that Minamino goal, where was the Arsenal's defense? They were nowhere to be seen. Yeah, so it's an interesting one to see, because we don't know how they are going to set up against Newcastle. Is it the same way? And if they are going to set up the same way, they are going, of course, to bully Newcastle. But for me, that game, if I was asked, I think Arsenal, if they kept their cool, if Arteta kept his cool throughout the match, they will have fought for even a draw. It's difficult at Anfield, but as a coach, you should never fall into those tactics. You remember, even that's what the likes of Mourinho, Conte do. Another example I'll give as we preview the next game. You remember that City versus Manu game where Bruno told Pep to shut his mouth. It's that's what coaches do. Pep was just trying to unsettle Bruno because he knew Bruno was the key player in that game. So in the Liverpool game, Mane kept fouling the Arsenal midfielders because they knew once you break the attacking side of Arsenal's game, they have nothing more to do. And that's what actually they did. So whenever an attacking Arsenal midfielder got the ball, they got fouled, they got kicked. So they got bullied. But unfortunately, Arteta fell for it. So the good thing is hii wiki watakuwa wametunyamazia kidogo, hata sisi tulipigwa vibaya sana. So hawezi katupatia banta mingi juu hata wao pia walinyukwa 4. But now going to my news game, I know we had mentioned a bit yesterday. If you guys haven't watched our discussion about Ole, what went wrong, who should be the next manager, what we think about the interim manager, you can watch that video after this show. Steve, what went wrong at Watford?
I think everything went wrong, from the team selection to the managers' incompetence to the team morale to their mentality. Everything was off that day, especially in the first half. Like there were, I don't know what was going on. Bruno was non-existent. Cristiano the same. The midfield was dead. Uh, like the defense was in disarray. Like I don't know what to say. Like we looked defeated even before the game started. Even for the first 10 minutes, I could tell that the team was unsettled. Was it's like Oleguna just went and picked 11 strangers and told them, "Hey, we have a game against Watford. Just come and play." Like Watford looked more compact, looked like they had trained for the game. I don't know. We were not in the game on Saturday, and we deserved to lose. Maybe we didn't deserve to lose as bad as we did, but thanks to Maguire's foolishness. Uh, if Maguire actually was not given a red, I think we would have drawn or won that game. I think, especially the way we came up in the second half, there was some bright sparks from the subs, namely Van de Beek and Marshall. I think the ball started flowing better, and we started going forward. Cristiano missed a very obvious goal when he was put through by Van de Beek, which was he offside, or he just missed the goal?
Two of them were offside. One of them was no. Actually, he had 4. 2 offside. One was saved by the keeper. The other one went. It followed Bruno's penalty ball to the heavens.
I think.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. We tried. Yes.
For me, I think that game, if I was asked, there was a bit of sabotage from the players. I feel like the players did not want to play for Ole. It's like they knew if they lost, they would have him sacked. But I'm just speculating. But for me, that's the feeling I got, because the way we played against Watford did not show any ambition at all. The only 4 players who actually showed that they can do something for us in that game was De Gea, Cristiano, Sancho, and Van de Beek. Those are the only 4 players that actually were trying to fight for every ball, were trying to be creative. Bruno at the moment is not in form. He needs to be dropped. We need to get that position. You remember yesterday in our discussion, I said Manchester United need to get to that position where we have a coach that can actually bench the big star names and tell them, because you are out of form, you need to sit down until you prove me otherwise. We have players who are in the bench who also need to come and fight for the positions. Once you create positions, you create competition for the positions. That is, you'll have players fighting for the position. But as long as the players know they are going to start, then they won't players hard enough for the game. So in that match, there are players who started the game that shouldn't have started. For example, Luke Shaw, McTominay, Rashford, they shouldn't have started that game. He should have given players like Sancho, Martial game time. He should have given Van de Beek in midfield. He should have played Alex Telles instead of a concussed Shaw. So for me, it was a shambolic performance. But let's give credit where it's due. Watford played a marvelous game. They bullied us. They passed the ball. They ran hard. They ran harder and faster than Man United. They had more shots on target despite having less possession. It was quite shocking to see that Manchester United had 61% possession at the end of the game, while Watford had 39%, and still Watford won 4-1. So that shows you how hard they worked off the ball, on the ball. But we won't talk so much about Man United, what happened.
But just one thing before we go forward. It was surprising to me that we actually played better without Maguire with 10 men. we
Yes.
played without a defender, and
Yeah.
we actually looked better. Like
Yes, we
I
did.
think that was a
And we
clear, what
created
do you
more
call it?
chances.
And we created more chance. It was a clear, like it was very weird. It just shows how Maguire is a liability at the moment. I'm not saying he's a bad player or he doesn't try, but he's not in the moment. He's not helping the team. I think maybe there's so much in his head, maybe some pressure. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Maguire at the moment. But if I was a coach, I'd rest him for a while, and maybe give him a few minutes, a few minutes during the game when we are comfortably in the lead. But it was very weird. Just we played better without Maguire in the field, and we were 10 men.
This is what I think. I think Maguire is, as you've said, is not a bad player. Bruno is not a bad player. De Gea is not a bad player. The problem we are having is we are having tactics and a setup that exposes the weaknesses of players. Every player is weak. Messi is weak. Messi, as much as he's one of the best players in the world, if not the best player in the world, he has his weaknesses. You can't expect Messi to defend like the way you see Sergio Ramos defending. Similarly, you can't see Sergio Ramos scoring stunning goals like Messi. Every player has a weakness.
But we're not
So
we're not asking Maguire to score
yeah,
goals. We are
no,
actually
what I'm
asking
saying
him.
is, yeah, to
Yes,
defend. But
to
what I'm
defend.
saying is, I think that's not a good example. But what I'm saying is, every player has a weakness, and we all know that Maguire's weakness is once he's isolated, he's slow and cannot. Basically, he's not a good ball handler under pressure. But in terms of being the last man, in terms of clearing or collecting the loose balls, he's among the best. He's among the top. In fact, I dare say you can compare him with Virgil van Dijk. But Manchester United system does not cover weaknesses of the players. If you look at teams like Liverpool, teams like let me use Liverpool for example. Liverpool, we all know that Mohamed Salah never presses. We all know that players like Mane will run riot and cover every blade of grass in terms of attacking and defending. Trent Alexander-Arnold, we know that he's not good in the air. So he has people like Virgil van Dijk to cover him in the air for those aerial balls. So you look at Manchester United, you look at the team setup, which players cover for each other. You look at the olden days, or let me not use the olden, let me use the modern era of football. You look at a team like Manchester City, for example, you have Rodri who covers the defense. So once he covers the defense, it actually allows the fullbacks like Cancelo to move up and attack. But look at our defense. The moment Luke Shaw and this other guy, Wan-Bissaka, move forward, we don't have a midfielder who can cover. And once the defensive midfielder is passed, as I said, the weaknesses are exposed. So to me, as much as Maguire is not having a good moment or the defensive midfielders are not having a good moment, I think we don't have a structure, or Manchester United doesn't have a structure that can actually cover for the weaknesses of the players in the squad. So even if you took Ole, and I guarantee you this, even if you took Ole from United and placed him at Liverpool or City, you wouldn't see the actual strengths of the players. You will see the weaknesses of the players, because poor tactics expose weaknesses of the players. Poor planning exposes the weaknesses of the players. Good tactics and good planning actually amplifies the skills and the knowledge of the players.
But I think the issue that I have with Maguire is not that I accept that he's not the best player in certain aspects of the game. But the problem I have with Maguire is that he actually believes he's good enough to do some of the things he does. He thinks he's Maldini, or I don't know. He believes that he's
umetoka kusema hii ni Kiburi FC.
Sawa, but a Kiburi FC for the fans, not for the players.
Okay.
Yani,
Okay.
like hauwezi fanya the same thing, the same blunder, this game, the other game, unapokonywa tu ball na ma strikers, and it aingi kwa kichwa yako kwamba you should not be trying to control the ball under pressure. Unajua
Yeah,
ukipokonywa mara, like if somebody steals the ball for you once, twice, I think by the third time you should realize, by the way, I'm not so fast, so I should be releasing this ball as soon as I get it. Unaona?
Yes.
So hata kama useme ati we are trying to cover for him, how can you cover for a player that is intentionally doing bad things they're making bad decisions? Unaona? Hata inafanya like
for that point, what I mean by covering for him is, I mean in terms of tactics. For example, this is what I believe. I believe Maguire akipata ball, or when the player gets the ball, they don't know what to do with the ball. It's like Manchester United players handle the ball like a hot potato. Nimepewa hii potato. Where do I take it? He looks around. He does not see. If you look at Manchester, there are no patterns. You know, most well-drilled teams, you can see patterns of play. For example, you know, if the ball goes to Maguire, he'll either take it to Luke Shaw will pass it back to, let's say, Matic. There is no pattern. So the moment the ball went to Maguire or goes to Maguire, he's like, will I take it to the goalkeeper? Will I kick it forward? The other thing,
but Maguire is a professional player. Like, there's some mistakes you should not be doing at his level. You know, this is not Sunday League where we can forgive some kind of like schoolboy mistakes. Unajua vitu kama hizo, even if I'm the one who did this and I'm playing for my even high school or even ile tu team ya home, it will look silly honestly, kwa sababu kila mtu anajua hauna ball control, especially ukikuwa under pressure. Like mi naona tu like Maguire ako na ile complex and assume that he's better than he actually is, of which hata ndo inamu expose to more criticism. Angekuwa tu anafanya just make it simple, utapata mtu kama Varane, he doesn't try and dribble past players, although okay, he's actually good by the way, but hajaribu kucarry ball like a Van Dijk, sijui apite akate moja at the shoulder, sijui, yani afanye so many things that make sense.
Hata umeenda mbali. If you look at Lindelof and Eric Bailly, as we finish this, we are talking so much about United, we need to move on. If you look at Eric Bailly and Lindelof, they are one of the best ball carrier defenders or defensive ball carriers, something like that. In the world, for me, in the world, they're among the best. Because ukichukua mtu kama Lindelof umweke team kama Barcelona or a team like Man City, he will perform well because he can defend and at the same time he can carry the ball. But hey, Steve, we need to move forward. Time is far much gone. We need to have a look at other games. We had Man City playing against Everton. It's like Rafa Benitez is unable to handle this Everton team. Of course, he has a few players that are injured, the likes of Decore, the likes of the forward's name. Why do I keep forgetting that? Calvert-Lewin is also injured. Yeah. So, but looking at how they set up, I watched that game and it was quite embarrassing to see how he set up the Everton team. He set up the Everton team to look like a relegation side where they sit in deep and wait for the counter. But a team like Man City, you can't afford to sit deep and wait to counter them unless you are always Manchester United. But looking at the profile of players that Everton had in that game, they were able to, or they would have been able to counter. But unfortunately, a few players got injured. Demarai Gray got injured, so which forced an early substitution. But City are looking like now a solid team that can challenge Chelsea for the title.
What I think the notable thing about that game, kulikuwa na mjaluo There was an Onyango somewhere. I think that's the only thing I can remember on that game. Kuna Mjaluo aliingizwa. Kuna Mjaluo
What was his
aliingizwa.
name? Let me see whether I can get
Something
the name.
Onyango, I can't even remember. Kulikuwa tu na
Uh,
an Onyango nikashangaa. Everton have an Onyango. I don't know if he's
let me try
registered
to
as
get the
a
name.
England player or a Kenyan player. I'm not sure.
Wacha, as you talk, wacha nitafute hiyo jina. Hapana wewe, sioni wewe.
Huoni?
Hapana.
Yesterday there was an Onyango.
Iko Alan
There was
Taylor
an
Onyango.
Taylor Onyango. Although
Taylor
hata kai
Onyango.
Jaluo. He doesn't look like a Jaluo, so it's very weird.
Let me share the screen so that we can be able to see him. And this is courtesy of SofaScore. Of course, they are not sponsoring the show, but we do hope that one day they'll sponsor the show. There you go. Taylor Onyango, Everton under 23. He's of England nationality.
So he's not Kenyan. So he should come back home kwa sababu I doubt he'll ever get a chance there. Especially the midfield of England is very competitive. So sioni akipata namba. So I should come back home.
But which is better? At least Suko, even if you won't represent England, and there is no difference because at a Kenya represent Kenya, it's not like we are going to play in the World Cup or African Cup of Nations anytime soon. So,
but at least he'll be capped.
Actually,
there's some pride in being capped. But if he remains in England, he'll never be capped. So akuja tu Kenya, hata kama mpira yetu inakufa, we know you are Onyango is not an English name, tafadhali. Know yourself, know that. But I was surprised when I heard Onyango and the way they were pronouncing it, until I read it is when I was like, Onyango?
I'm sure they were pronouncing it as Onyango.
Onia. It was very funny how they were pronounced. It did look like a Jaluo name when the way they were pronouncing it. But yeah, Everton, I think Benitez will be sacked very soon if he continues.
So. I think he's the next manager to be sacked. I think he will be the next manager to be sacked.
Poor run, I think his days are numbered. Maybe he might be sacked as soon as January if he doesn't turn things around. Let me check just what is it called, the table. Where is Everton in the table? I'm not sure. Okay, internet yangu haiko poa sana, but yeah.
I'll let you know right now. Everton are in 11th position.
The 11th, 15 points, so it's not so bad. I think a couple of 3 wins can really push them up. So I think Benitez still has a chance. But if they are still below the 10th position in January, I think, or end of December, I think the board might just pull the plug on Benitez because it seems it's not working so far. Maybe if the injuries they come back, maybe something will happen. But
I think once he has all his players, like the key striker and the defensive midfielder, the performances will improve. But either way, he should be performing with the players he has. Of course, he's coming up against big teams, but he should be challenging for at least the top 8 or top 9 position. Yeah. So having a look at other matches, we had Tottenham who played against Leeds. Unfortunately, Steve didn't watch the whole of this match because we had a show yesterday. But as I said, in the first half, Tottenham looked like they need a lot of work. I can tell you for sure that Conte needs to do a lot of work in that team. The fullbacks are not attacking or defending just like the way Conte wants. He needs to work on them. I think Sergio Reguilón has a chance to continue playing under him because Sergio is, Spanish players are usually technical players. Spanish, Italian, and Dutch players are more technical players, technically gifted players compared to English players. So I think if Conte gets his wish in January, he's going to go for some players that can play in fullback, because he does not have players that can play in fullback. He also mentioned that he wants Harry Kane to improve. Otherwise, if he doesn't improve, then he's going to be dropped to the bench or sold. But I don't think that Daniel Levy will accept Harry Kane to be sold or dropped to the bench.
I doubt anyone can be allowed to drop Harry Kane at the moment.
Yeah, at the moment,
He's
yeah.
the English captain, and I don't think it would be wise to actually drop him. As a player, it would be very weird to drop one of the best strikers, especially when you're looking for goals.
Yeah.
I think Harry Kane is one of the best players in England, if I was to be asked, because he does a lot of work other than just scoring. Especially last season, you could see this season is dipped, maybe because transfer yake ilikuwa blocked. But last season you would see him, he was like playing a number 6, assisting Son, then going up and scoring. So last season walikuwa poa. I think he's a player who, like, history yake itafanya usimdrop, if that makes sense. Like, anything can happen with Harry Kane, because he's a technically a good player. He has eye for goal, so kumdrop inakuwa bit hata kama unataka kumdrop, but inakuwa tricky sasa. As a coach, I would
before Devi gives us his comments about Harry Kane, pia alipotea time tulikuwa tunaongea stories za Arsenal. For me, I think Harry Kane is more like Wayne Rooney. I think we haven't seen the full potential of Harry Kane, as we did not see the full potential of Wayne Rooney. Remember, Wayne Rooney was moved around quite a bit at United to accommodate the likes of Ronaldo. After Ronaldo left, he was then shifted again to accommodate Van Persie. So we didn't quite see Wayne Rooney to his full potential as a complete forward or a complete number 9. So the same with Harry Kane. I think Harry Kane, form yake imedip juu pia. He's playing, as you said, he's playing sometimes as a winger, sometimes he's playing as a left forward, sometimes he's playing as a number 9, sometimes he's dropping deep to become a number 10. So personally, I would love to see Harry Kane play under a system like Man City, because I think at Man City saizi Harry Kane angekuwa like akona 15 plus goals, in my opinion, because Harry Kane ni ule player mwenye you give him the ball, he will score. But if you allow him to go and start looking for the ball, then who will score? So currently, surpass Wayne Rooney for England. But if he can be played the same way he's being played for England at Tottenham, I think at score a lot of goals. Yes, Devi, quickly give us your comments on Harry Kane as well as the Arsenal game, because now time is far much gone.
Hey.
Yes.
Yeah, you're asking about Harry Kane. I think to me, Harry Kane at the moment, the reason why form yake imeenda chini kiasi, the issue ya transfer ilimuaffect kiasi, because I think hata mwenyewe alikuwa anataka kumove, but due to the fact that haku manage kumove, I think it affect form yake. And also, I think I'll say the current the manager that alijipata naye this season, that was Nuno. I think he didn't use him well. So for now, I'll have to see how Antonio Conte atamtumia. But I think Antonio Conte will utilize him vizuri. Because I can say like the likes of Lukaku vile alimtumia, I think he'll use him well. So I know for the coming like 2-3 games, Harry Kane ameanza kurise towards the end of the season, atarise. Yeah.
Your thoughts on the Arsenal performance versus Liverpool? Na ndio tukaribishe Pascal. Kuna comment ameweka hapa, nataka kuiweka ndio ajitetea hapo.
Okay, so as I commented on Facebook, I said Arsenal players panicked after the first goal. That one I have
there's that
to,
comment.
I have to admit about that, because basically, due to the fact that we are having the youngest squad in the league, awase bado hawana experience ya kuhold on a tough game like that one. So I see we're still working in progress. So I won't blame them. I know for a fact it was so intense for them. It was so intense for them. But we really tried, by the way. We really tried.
Pole tunacheka.
By the way, no, see, skia. The issue is, by the way, I'm not worried because nyinyi ndo mnanipatia more confidence kwa sababu ya nini? If I told an experienced team like Manchester United can be clobbered 5-0, what of inexperienced team like Arsenal at the moment? By the way, sasa ukiangalia kwa hiyo timu wase wako tu na experience Laka Shaka and Aubameyang, of which like jana
Tulia David.
no, that's the fact.
Experience.
That's the fact.
The only people wenye hawana experience hapo maybe ni wao Tavares na nani mwingine mtoto yuko hapo na Smith Rowe. The rest of the rest
hawa si wote ni watoto. Ukiangalia check ona.
Tuanze mbele. Lacazette ni mtoto.
I've said nimesema wasi wako na experience hapo ni kina Laka na kina nani na Aubameyang.
Okay,
I'm talking of experienced players. When I talk of experienced players,
listen, Atletico alikuwa player.
Listen, ngoja nani?
Pate hapo ndo viazi Atletico.
Nani?
Pate.
Nani? Sikia, ngoja.
Wewe alikuwa player. Kwa hivyo ako na experience. Tena alikuwa anacheza Champions League.
Ngoja. Sikia hivyo. When you talk of experienced players, listen, when you talk of experienced players in Arsenal, we'll talk of handful. Lakini tukiangalia like the likes of Manu, timu yote ni experienced. Utanitajia mtoto hapo ni nani?
Watoto ni nini? You know, kama tunaangalia age wise, kina Greenwood hawajafika 20 ndio bado ni wadogo, lakini tunaleta experience ndio amecheza ligi
his first season kwa Arsenal.
Hii season ya kwanza kucheza mlifungwa kubali tu.
Excuses. Ngoja nikuulize one thing. Like the team ambayo tulichezesha jana, wamecheza along for how long?
No, wewe tuambie.
Listen, ngoja. We have Tavares.
Season yake ni ya kwanza.
Hata sisi tunaweza sema hivyo. Hata sisi tunaweza sema hivyo.
About who?
Hata sisi tunaweza. Yeah,
hata hajacheza na players.
Listen.
Van de Beek hajacheza na players. Ronaldo hajacheza na players.
Okay, guys.
That day Van de Beek needs to finish. That day Van de Beek was not there. Ngoja niulize kitu kimoja. We have the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo. We have the likes of Varane. Sawa. We have the likes of nani? De Gea. We have the likes of nani? Another guy new Maguire.
These are David.
No
one is saying
hao wote nimetaja. Hao wote nimetaja ni vigogo.
Hakuna mtu amesema hatuna experience players. Sisi tuna refute hiyo fact yako yenye unajaribu ku bring up at Arsenal haikuwa na experience players on Saturday or is it on Sunday, that's why ulifungwa, which is not true. So,
let me tell you for a fact, we have the youngest new team in the league na ambaye haijashikana. True false?
Yeah, true.
Evra, are you agreeing?
I don't believe that. No. Being
Okay, let
young
me
does
ask
not
this.
mean
Okay,
hauna
let me ask
experience.
this. Let me ask
Being
this.
young doesn't mean hauna
Derry.
experience.
Wacha niulize hii. How many players have Arsenal signed this season
This season,
that played in that game on Sunday?
we have Ben White,
Mhm,
sawa. Neo Tomianski,
mhm,
Tavares,
Tavares.
and the keeper?
and the keeper.
Nani mwingine?
Sawa. Na hiyo
Ramsey.
tayari
No, sawa, ni sawa. Okay, that
Hiyo
answers
tayari-
my question.
hiyo
Achia hapo
tayari ni
kwanza.
defense. Hiyo tayari ni defense.
Achia hapo.
Sawa, tulia.
Are those the only players you signed that played in that game? As in the players mlisaini season, hao ndio walicheza hiyo game, si ndio?
Yeah.
Aya, now let's talk about experience. Ramsdale amecheza games ngapi Premier League?
Games ngapi Premier League? Not much. No,
Are you sure?
I'm talking of Arsenal.
Not much.
Arsenal hajacheza game moja.
No, you know when you say experience,
hapa.
we are talking
Basi
about
umesema
experience. We're not talking
Varane.
about tunaongelea about
Amesema Varane
experience.
ako na experience. Umesema Varane ako na
Yes.
experience. So
Yes.
pia Ramsdale
Pia Ramsdale ana experience because Ramsdale amecheza championship na amecheza Premier League with two teams
na akarelegatiwa.
na
Okay.
akarelegatiwa. So he has experience.
Okay.
Aya, now let's go to Ben White. Ben White
Fanya aje?
amecheza Premier League season ngapi?
Fanya aje? Let's go head to head. Sawa. We compare Ramsdale and De Gea. Sawa. Kama kuna experience. No, we are going head to head. No,
It's okay.
Twende head to
Let's
head.
go head to head.
Twende head to head. Ngoja twende head to head.
Kuna experience players. Wewe ndo umekataa. Unaona? Wewe ndo umekataa ati uko hauna experience players.
When I compare the experience ya Arsenal players na Man U players at the moment, yenu iko juu.
Compare experience yenu na ile timu mlikuwa mnacheza nayo, which is Liverpool. Hamkuwa mnacheza na Manchester?
Iko juu. The reason why I was comparing this, mimi nilikuwa nasema I was comparing our game and your game. Your club at 5-0, right? I was club at 4, right? And in fact, at least I knew by Pacific ulikuwa ushachapa tatu.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
So, okay, now let me not compare about new. Let me compare my team with Liverpool. Yenye nilikuwa nacheza nayo. Sawa? We go head to head. Yes. Ramsdale na Alisson. Who is experienced?
Who has more Premier League experience?
Alisson.
No, Ramsdale.
Ramsdale
alianza kucheza Premier League even before Alisson came to Liverpool. Yes.
Alisson
so Ramsdale has more Premier League experience than
Premier League experience.
Yes.
Ramsdale Alisson amecheza Champions League. In fact, amewin Champions League. Nani hapo experienced?
If you are talking in terms of winning trophies, sasa ukisema winning trophies inamaanisha pia wenye wako Arsenal have won more trophies than the current Liverpool players.
No, basically to me with the experience I mean the number of years you've played no regardless of the leagues.
So kama ndio tunasema the number of years you've played, I think what you are saying in terms of experience is in terms of experience playing against top teams. See at the experience in the number of games. Because tukienda na the number of games, ukiangalia mtu kama who will I give an example of? Ukiangalia mtu kama Smith Rowe ako na less games than Greenwood, si ndio? Yeah? But at the moment who is performing better? At the moment, it's Smith Rowe who's performing better than Greenwood. Sindio? So, in terms of the experience you're talking about, I agree with you. Manchester United has more experienced players than Arsenal. But what I don't agree with is saying that because the player has played more games, that they should be performing better. If that's the case, then kuna players wenye wako hata championship they should be performing better. For example, Adam Lallana amecheza game mingi sana Premier League. Danny Welbeck amecheza game mingi sana. Danny Welbeck na Cleverley wamecheza game mingi sana Premier League na wamewin Premier League trophies. Si ndio? But where are they now?
I know, but can we say those are not experienced players?
They are experienced players.
Because hao ni wase hata ni sasa ukiwaingiza kwa team, even if they won't play, but watapatia
wase, they can guide the younger players. Yeah, I agree with you. I think this is what I said. Amku lose game because not only the players are inexperienced, you also lost the game because Arteta is inexperienced. And this is what I said. I hope you listen to it. Arteta lost his cool. He lost his nerve against Klopp. When Klopp noticed that Arteta is in control of the situation, his team is in control of the situation, what did Klopp do? He started taunting Arteta. He started taunting the fouls that were being made. Ukiangalia when Mane ali make that tackle, what did Klopp do? Klopp celebrate. So that is actually what got Arteta to get mad, because Arteta was saying that should be a yellow. Klopp na yeye anaambia referee that should not be a yellow, haufai kuambiwa ni yellow, na akaambia Mane endelea na hiyo kazi mzuri. So Arteta got angry, then they started that fight. What happened after the fight? The Arsenal players they lost their head. Yeah, it's true. So instead of the coach now concentrating with the game, alianza kuconcentrate with the what Klopp is doing, what the referees call, which fouls the referee is calling, how the Arsenal players are being fouled, unaona. So sasa akatoa focus ya Arteta kwa game. Arteta akaanza kufocus on the non-issues. That's what top coaches do. So in terms of experience, I was waiting for you to finish. Unfortunately, Steve Ame left. But what I think, it's not the experience of the players, because coaches have won with the younger players. I think the inexperience here, Arteta, your coach, is what is costing you against big matches. That is what I believe. And I think Arteta now needs to get number one, unaona hao sasa wenye unasema experienced players anafaa awalete kwa team so that they can start now guiding these younger players, and that experience also needs to come from the manager, because the manager can also guide the experienced players and tell them nataka uguide, for example, Smith Rowe on how to run. Kama anaweza ambia Thomas Partey, you are the experienced head in the midfield, unaona. So Thomas Partey, what you should do is you should be able to control akina Smith Rowe on how to run, for example. Kama ni defense, anafaa ambie the experienced defenders, hawa vijana wadogo akina Tavares, akina that Japanese, teach them how to make runs in defense. So that's, I agree with you completely about experience, but what I don't agree is it's completely reliant on players. I think experience pia inategemea coach na the coaching staff. So Arteta anafaa atafute wale coaches pia wako experience so that they can guide him and also give him, because give him what he needs to do in the game. Because what I thought would have happened in that game, the moment Arteta lost his cool, angekuwa na coach mwenye angemwambia enda utulie kwa bench kiasi, hasira itulie, I'll take over the team. That's what's ideally supposed to happen. As we finish the show, and I'll let you make a final comment. You remember wakati Pep Guardiola alibishana na Aguero kwa touchline. Siko unakumbuka hiyo clip?
I think I remember it, yeah.
I think in 2019 there was a time Aguero was subbed off and then Guardiola alipigia Arteta kelele. Alipigia yani Pep alipigia Aguero kelele. What happened? Pep alienda akaketi, Arteta now stood. Arteta sasa akasimama as the assistant coach for the 5 or 10 minutes or so minutes, so that Klopp aende akae chini, hasira itulie, and then when now Pep came to the touchline, Arteta now went and sat down. That is what you want to see from, that is now experience. So nili expect assistant coaches wenyu waende waambie Arteta, huyu jamani ni uchokozi tu, Anyway, your comment before we end the show.
Okay, to me, like I said earlier, we still have a young team.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
Still bado yes, we've had some wins hapo nyuma kiasi, but still the team needs to learn more. And for that, for the same, they will say now the older players ambao kuna experience kiasi wanafaa guide these other players. I'll also caution the likes of the likes of Aubameyang, because to me I think at the moment hata ningekuwa ni Arteta ningempokonya hiyo armband at the moment. There is a guy ningepatia armband by the way sahi.
Yeah.
Lacazette. Lacazette there is a day aliingizwa kama substitute. Mama aliingizwa kama substitute. Jamaa alihype crowd. First of all alianza akahype crowd na akaingiza ani power kwa timu, akapatia wase moral na the team became lethal. You see, so that's the kind of of energy I'll need from the older guys. Like to me, I think I'll also say Lacazette should be given that that armband. He deserves it.
Yeah,
he really deserves it.
I also think another player that can make a good captain for you guys is what's the name of this midfielder? Although he's still young, I think also Bukayo Saka can make a good captain. Because ukiangalia even his communication skills on and off the ball, unapata hata Thomas Partey ni wale, when you see players off the ball pointing to other players wakisema enda pale and commanding that performance, those are players that can make a captain.
It's true. So basically, to me, I think at the moment we lack leadership.
Yeah,
we really
that's
lack
true.
leadership. We lack
I agree.
leadership. I heard that someone like Ramsey anafikiria kurudi. Yes, it will be a loss to some extent in terms of wages, but to me, I think him coming back, it will be an added advantage in terms of adding that leadership to that team.
Yeah. But Arsenal I keep saying Arsenal is a team that should be Arsenal, Manchester United saizi wanafaa kuwa wakichallenge the top 3 because traditionally those teams are big, traditionally those teams are massive. They've been performing well, but of course every team inakuanga na ups and downs. You remember in the 90s and early 2000s Liverpool were down. Saizi Man U na Arsenal are performing the same way Liverpool was performing back then when Man U and Arsenal were fighting for titles and whatnot. But Arsenal wanafaa wafike ile point wanasema let's not try to save on wages, let's not try to make profits by not spending and actually do like what Manchester United don't spend to win trophies. Manchester United spend to earn. So they don't spend $500,000 every week on Ronaldo to win a trophy. They spend $500,000 every week on Ronaldo because they know he will sell shirts. So kusema mtu kama Ramsey ati asikuje because you want to save on wages, you are compromising, because Ramsey actually is a marketable player as well. He's a club legend. Atauza shirts. He's a leader. Another player I think you guys really messed up na kumfukuza was Giroud.
Giroud
saizi angekuwa your leader, unaona, because Giroud is a leader.
It's true.
I think Giroud, losing Giroud and Ozil, I think those two players, once they left, you guys have never recovered. And then that blunder of also sending Hector Bellerin out on loan, and Bellerin saizi ndio among the senior figures in defense guiding the others. Of course it's good to have an iron fist aseme players wanasumbua acha watoke, but you still need 1 or 2 3 players wenye wamekaa kwa club for a long time na wataelezea other players like hapana, this is what to do, this is what you should do, this is how the club performs. And that's why unaona Ole Gunnar alikuwa anajaribu kuleta the likes of Ronaldo, retaining the likes of Mata, so that those experienced players can guide the other players. But I think we'll organize a show to discuss matters Arsenal so that we can also go deeper into it. The show is about a preview, but we should organize for a show for Arsenal. We also get other Arsenal fans to give their input on the club. But Sikupingi, I totally agree with you. Manu is more experienced than Arsenal and shouldn't be losing 5-0 versus Liverpool. But still, for me, that game, nyinyi mlikuwa mwin. I actually think Arsenal should have won versus Liverpool. It's only that Arteta lost his cool, which of course rubbed off to the players, and that's why the likes of Tavares walianza kufanya hizo blunder.
That's true.
So Devi, final words as we end the show. Tume extend sana.
I mean, first of all, I'll thank you guys for continuing with the on the wheel. I know I've been off for some time, but I always follow on the previews, know what happened, and I really commend you guys. Continue with the same spirit.
Asante sana. Pascal anasema sorry guys, have to leave briefly. That's fine Pascal. Najua ilifika mahali argument ikakuwa heated. But yeah, so anyway, Devi, thanks very much for coming through. Thanks guys for watching. Until next time, see you. Bye bye. Cheers.
Well done.